Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's premier horse racing podcast in association with Boyle Sports, Gorham Park Racecourse, EJ Menswear and Shamrock Thoroughbreds.
As they race up the hill towards the finish, Hark the Herald here on Perry Pass has absolutely bolted up under Paul Town, and Perry Pass won by wide margin. On the final 150 yards, it's Irish Point from Marie National, who's coming with every stride. They're going to the line. Irish Point, Marie National on the near side.
If you haven't already, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Champ.ie YouTube channel, as it helps to get horse racing content out there to the wider audience. We look forward to reading all your hashtag 5cast selections in the comments section below. Enjoy the show.
Boyle Sports. Don't just bet. Choose wisely.
Hello, and you're all very welcome along again to the another edition of Champ.ie on the week of Punchestown, where we have seen some brilliant performance, no more so than Gallop in the Shop winning the Gold Cup in absolutely fascinating fashion. And we're here to look ahead to see whether Constitution Hill or Stateman are going to win on Friday. What a question that is. We'll get to that later in the show. And don't forget as well to like and subscribe the video. Every interaction helps in getting the content out there to the wider audience. And as always, a big thank you to our partners involved: Gorham Park, Boyle Sports, EJ Menswear and Shamrock Thoroughbreds. Barry, straight into it. We go to Friday, Ladies' Day, and I know you're heading there yourself. So any ladies heading along, you do have a wedding band on the finger, though, just to warn them in case they're going to flock there in their thousands for you on Friday. But we have a cracking day's racing to look forward to, and it all kicks off, Barry, with the Bishop's Corp Cup over 2.5 miles.
Absolutely, Dave. Look, to kick us off, no strong opinion in race number 1, Dave, or race number 2 for that matter. But I suppose if you had to force us for a pick, one that really caught the eye for me last time for Maxine O'Sullivan and, of course, Ian McCarthy. Is a good hand in this race, by the way. I'd say you could have the first and second in the market if tissue prices are anything to go by. But Eyes Off Annie, that's the one that really caught the eye. 7-year-old daughter of Presenting. I thought she travelled beautifully over 2.5 miles under the hands of Maxine O'Sullivan at Cork. And quoted afterwards, of course, Ian McCarthy did say, obviously, Punchestown, a local track. They'd love to have a winner there. And, this horse, obviously, just 11 days ago, we saw, of course, Eyes Off Annie at Cork. So it's quite a quick turnaround. But I thought a lots were in her favour. Obviously, she's going to be getting weight off the stablemate Fountain House here, who has the tongue strap on for the first time. Why is that? That'll be the question there. But Maxine O'Sullivan, I think a big plus on this horse. She has a little bit of class. She gets weight. I think stepping up in trip, she should be fine, Dave. She travels beautifully through her races and she's a really sound jumper. So there could be more to come. She's only 7, as I mentioned. And that was the one that caught the eye in race number 1. Tissue priced in, Dave, at 2-1 of the 2 McCarthy runners. I thought she was the pick.
Yeah, and then we move on to a Hunter's Chase. Always hard to get a handle on these. And, of course, going for a 3-timer is Emmett Mullen's runner. It's on the line. He's won the race for the last 2 years running, Barry.
Yeah, he certainly has. I suppose the one worry with It's on the Line is how hard a race, should I say, that this horse have at the Cheltenham Festival. I thought Derek O'Connor really had to give this horse the office, and only finished second, obviously. And has this horse been the real It's on the Line this season? I'm not so sure. Obviously, you mentioned the Punchestown form, but I wanted to take him on with Viroflay for the Olive Nichols stable. Of course, she's on board herself here, and not your traditional, I suppose, national hunt pedigree, but this horse seems to bounce off the nice ground. I thought won very, very stylishly at, of course, Kempton. 34-length winner last time over 2.5 miles. Has to prove stamina, but they wouldn't want to give this horse a free lead, Dave. Brilliant jumper. And I thought going right-handed as well. Obviously, this horse is a real improver, but unexposed in this sort of class, I suppose they could have took the handy route and went to Cheltenham for the Hunter Chase meeting, but they've decided to come here instead. And all wins have come on good ground and right-handed as well. So at Punchestown, if they give this horse a free lead, I just thought 5-1 was a little bit too big. And I think a tip in itself, Dave, they're coming here instead of Cheltenham. So Viroflay, I think you could have a couple of British Trains winners once again at Punchestown. This could be one of them. I like his chances.
Oh, lovely stuff, Barry. Well, we've got a cracking grade 2 Mayor's Chase to look forward to over 2.5 miles. 450 contest, of course, and 7-4 on Dino Blue with Boyle Sports. Allegor the Vassy 7-2, and then Gavin Cromwell's runner Bride's Hill, Barry, which I think you might have a little bit of a fancy for it in around 6-1.
I do. Like Dino Blue, Dave definitely put in a career best effort at Cheltenham last time. And I mean, we all questioned her Cheltenham record and she fairly put that to bed, didn't she, in the Mayor's Chase? But just looking at race conditions, Bride's Hill, speaking of career best efforts, put up a career best in this race last year, absolutely bolted up. And the key to this horse, as we know, is nice ground. Now, the good ground has crept in to the ground description on the, of course, on the cross-country track as of this morning. But as the ground keeps drying out, you'd have to think, Bride's Hill is going to absolutely relish once again the nicer ground. Seven of this Bride's Hill's 8 career victories have come on either yielding or good ground. So definitely a plus. She has the course form. She's 5-1, and she's £3, David, better off with Dino Blue than she was at Cheltenham. So she's, she gets more weight and off Dino Blue than what she did at Cheltenham, which I think is definitely a positive. And she's a relatively fresh horse as well. She's had a run less this season than, of course, Dino Blue, and she's been geared up for the spring, obviously, given the fact that she's good form on nicer ground.
Yeah, right. Before we head into our first ad break, we're going to take a look at the listed chase over 2.5 miles. And I think the starting point here, Barry, has to be the Willie Mullins trained runner, JJ Steven on board Blizzard of Oz.
Yeah, I think so. I've been absolutely really looking forward to seeing this horse, Dave, in handicap company. It makes his handicap debut off 141. Willie Mullins, we should say, in this particular race has an outstanding record. He's won 7 of the last 10. Which, when it comes to handicaps, that's a really good record. And Blizzard of Oz, he tends to do well with these type of, I suppose, unexposed, chasers, maybe first run, second run in a handicap, and that's exactly the type of profile Blizzard of Oz has. I was down at Gorham Park when he ran in his last beginner's chase. He obviously hasn't been to Cheltenham and didn't go to Aintree, so he comes here a fresh horse, and I was actually quite taken with how he jumped on that occasion. I think he makes ground over his fences. He definitely, I think, long-term going to be a better chaser than what he was a hurdler. But look at the back form here. This horse was second in a Grade 2 Aintree bumper as a young horse. Look at his form over fences this season as well. His very first start, I was very taken with his performance. He was ridden from off the pace, mid-lengths at his fences, and jumped his way into contention and ended up only being beaten a length by, of course, Lecky Watson. And we know what he's got on to do. He won a Brown Advisory Grade 1 contest at the Cheltenham Festival. So I think that form reads well, and that beginner's chase at Gorham reads well with the likes of O'Moore Park in there. Lombron was second at Sandown, of course, last week in the big handicap over an extended 3 miles and 4 furlongs. So the form overall reads well. And Willie Mullins' comments at Naas after his beginner's chase run, he was interviewed about and asked about Lecky Watson. And when he was asked about Blizzard of Oz running second, he said, I think the comment from Willie Mullins was he nearly ran too well. So I'd say handicaps in the spring has always been the plan for this horse. And off 141, I thought he was dangerous. For me, Dave, he's at 8-1. He's the each way nap of Friday at the Punchestown Festival. I think he could be well treated. And JJ Slevin, of course, in the winner's enclosure this week already.
Absolutely, and I'll be very much backing you up with that selection as well for an each way play in that contest. Right, we're into our first ad break before we look at the final 4 races on Ladies' Day Friday at Punchestown.
Yes, so hello, Barry Doyle from the Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's Premier Horse Racing Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, David Byrnes, and we're here in Sligo Town, David, in EJ Menswear and EJMenswear.com. Fantastic season ahead. EJ has kindly partnered up with us to be the men's fashion partner with Champ.ie for the season. And David, we're suited and booted. You're looking sharp.
Yeah, well, thanks very much. And this fantastic bundle and this outfit we're wearing is costing $2.99. It sets you up beautifully for the racing season ahead, which includes Leopardstown at Christmas, Teahupoo Day at Gorham Park, and of course, if you want to go even bigger, you can get togged out for the Cheltenham and Aintree festivals later on in the season.
Absolutely, and of course, check out the Champ.ie podcast right throughout the season, Mondays and Thursdays, and look at the offer, the tailored bundle for the racing season, $2.99, blazer, shirt, chino, socks and shoes. What's not to like, lads? Check out EJMenswear.com to find out all the racing offers.
Yeah, that Taylor bundle, I was fronting it on Wednesday at Punchestown, and very comfortable and a great outfit as well for a day at the races. Right, let's continue on with the build-up on Friday's card then, and we move on to what's a fascinating race, the Grade 1 Novice Hurdle at 6:05. It is the 2.5 miler. This is one hell of a race because you got final demand for Willie Mullins with the yellow clay for Gordon Elliott. Barry, is it an A or B, or can there be a little bit of a shock in here?
I think it's an A versus B contest for sure, David. I think we're in danger when looking at the race of, I suppose, falling into the trap that the Yellow Clay is a better horse than Final Demand. And that is not the case. I think the best horse in the race, certainly long term, and I think at the moment is Final Demand. And I think Final Demand, look back at its run, of course, at the Cheltenham Festival. Now, it is worth noting there was a flood of money late on for the Yellow Clay for the Ballymore at the Cheltenham Festival. But Final Demand, look, I think definitely long term, we know soft ground, 3 miles and a fence, this horse is going to be better suited. But I think Connections will have learned from Cheltenham, and the fact that they come here and haven't put Final Demand away for a career over fences next season, to me, I think it's a tip in itself. Willie Mullins and Paul Townend, they've teamed up to win the last 4 renewals, so they're going for 5 in a row as a duet in this contest. And if you were to ask me before Cheltenham, who's the better horse, Final Demand or the Yellow Clay, regardless of ground, regardless of track, or regardless of trip, I would have said Final Demand all day long. And I'm not going to change my mind. I know he finished behind Yellow Clay at Cheltenham, but I think he was ridden for speed. And I think Connections will have learned that. And I'm expecting Paul Townend and Final Demand to book out here and ride the race, I suppose, let him use his stride. And I would expect him to be prominent. I would expect him to use his jumping and use his stride. And I think he stays well. So I think a change of tactics could be key here, Dave. And, long term, obviously, he's going to be the best horse in the race. But I think we're in danger overall as a punter population of being sucked into the Yellow Clay is the best horse in this particular race. Or sorry, the Yellow Clay will win this race because of race conditions, trip, ground, etc. The best horse in the race is Final Demand. Don't overcomplicate it, Dave. I think he'll win. I think 7-4 is a steal.
Right. What's the best horse in the Champion Hurdle? We've had our debates over Constitution Hill, Stateman, and lost him out over the season, but we've only got Stateman, of course, up against Constitution Hill. Is this the time he redeems himself? New pilot on board with Nico on the sidelines at the moment. Nicky Henderson, the crowd. This will be some occasion because we've always wanted Constitution Hill to travel across to Ireland. He comes to Punchestown. Barry, thoughts on the big one, the Champion Hurdle on Friday?
Well, we were all talking about the big match, weren't we, heading into the Cheltenham Festival, and we were expecting fireworks. Constitution Hill, obviously we didn't have Lassie, but we had brighter days ahead, and we had a bit of a turn-up. And is there a possibility, Dave, genuinely, that we could have a turn-up once again? There's a lot of factors at play here. I mean, Constitution Hill, like it or lump it, Dave, is coming in here off the back of 2 falls. That, to me, wouldn't be ideal. On ratings, he's rated 175. Nicky Henderson is bullish. Stateman coming off the back of a fall as well. And both horses aren't getting any younger here. So, for me, the bet in the race is actually neither. And I'm looking in the betting without market, without both runners, 11-8, without both Constitution Hill and Stateman, Cargize. And it's also priced up. She's also priced up, Dave, Cargize at 12-1. And I would say have a nibble on that. Now, I know she's a lot to find on ratings, but she can do. I mean, she's only 5 years of age. We saw mares, obviously, Honeysuckle into Kenny Alexander Silks win this race in the past. Vroom Vroom Mag won it, of course, a mare for Willie Mullins. And we've seen surprises already this week. This is end of season form. She's coming here, Dave, a fresh horse. Constitution Hill and Stateman have had plenty of racing this season already. They're both coming in off the back of a fall. Constitution Hill, 2 falls. And we have a new rider on board as well with, of course, James Bones. So there's a lot of factors at play. Cargize, she's only had the 2 runs this season. She's 5 wins from 10. The juvenile form, I think, as a whole last season reads very, very well. She has the Punchestown form last season. And is there a possibility that this horse could be a lot better as she grows up? I mean, we know Cargiza, she can tank through her races. If she settles better here, she's a stone plus to find, even when you take into consideration the allowance that she's going to get. I just think 12-1, you could have a small nibble, Dave, and 11-8 without both at Constitution Hill and Stapeman. I think she's a better mare than Jeremy Scott's Golden Ace, and I'm happy to be proved wrong, but I think she's a player, genuinely.
Yeah, well, I'm going to stick with Constitution Hill. I think, look, he was faller in his last 2 starts, but I think we're going to see the real Constitution Hill with a different type of hurdle as well to be jumped on Friday at Punchestown. Right, Barry, we move on to the penultimate race on day 4, which is the novices hurdle. And this does look to have an open enough look to it.
It does. It looks a winnable race as well. And we were speaking about Nicky Henderson. I think he has a good chance here with Charisma. When we interviewed Nicky Henderson on the podcast earlier on the season, actually asked him about this horse, Charisma. And he was quite positive, actually, about her. And her only run for Nicky Henderson since transferring from France, she finished only 2 lengths beaten to Jubilee Alpha. And obviously she won at the Cheltenham April meeting. She ran well in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. So I think that form reads well. And in behind, of course, at Windsor was Chagall, and she's come out and franked the form as well, winning in handicap company. And of course, her form from France reads well. We saw Epitante come from the same race as Charisma came from in France at Fontainebleau. And Caroline Bamboo, of course, has form tied in with Charisma as well. So I think her French form reads well. She ran well on debut for Nikki Henderson. There's definitely, I think, more to come. She's going to be getting weight off some of the geldings here. And Nikki Henderson has actually won this race, Dave, 4 times in the past. So I reckon she's been saved for this. And in the McManus colours, Charisma, I think James Bowen on board. I think she could be tissue price, Dave, 10-1. I don't see that. I don't see her being 10-1 on the day, I have to say.
Yeah, nor me either. And I think it's a fascinating race, that penultimate race at Punchestown. The final race is the bumper, and I'll be playing my nap pick here in Willie Mullins's King Rasco Grey. This horse ran an absolute cracker on debut in the valuable Goff's Defender bumper 12 months ago at Punchestown, keeping on 4th behind Sir Manzarek on that occasion. And it'll be very interesting to see. I expect this to be really, really well back. It's a very confident nap for me in the bumper on Friday. King Rasco Grey for Willie Mullins. Patrick not on board, of course, on Friday. It's serving out a suspension, of course, but he had an able deputy on board in Jodie Townend, Barry.
Yeah, she's on the board, of course, already for the weekend. Look, similar to the first race for me, Dave, no real strong opinion, but I've been waiting for Emmett Mullins' Soldier in Milan to make his debut for quite some time. And 6 years of age, so a bit late starting in bumpers. But last year, of course, won by a very shrewd trainer, Martin Brazel. Don't Stop the Music. I think Derek O'Connor was on board. I think a pretty deadly combination here. Emmett Mullins, John Gleeson, and of course, Paul Byrne. This would be, I wouldn't be surprised if there was quite a bit of a cash about for this, Dave. It's tissue priced in at 15-2. I absolutely loved its point-to-point win at Monk's Grange. Absolutely bolted up by 16 lengths for Cormac Doyle. Jack Hendrick was on board on that occasion. And I suppose, looking at the 2 mile 3 furlong bumper, it looks a lovely starting point for Soldier in Milan. I'll be watching with a keen interest. Then there could be cash about for it. I'd say this could be a nice horse. Soldier in Milan for me, if you were to force me, Dave, in the bumper to see us out on Friday.
Right, absolutely. Right, we'll take one final ad break and we'll be back then with the nap picks of Friday's card at Punchestown.
From Dundalk to Longchamp, from the Galway races to the Breeders' Cup, Shamrock Thoroughbreds have taken owners all over the world.
Tiger Bell in front, holds them. Late on the scene is Dawn Charger storming home, but Tiger Bell in front and won.
Coming through the centre, Laugh a Minute with a strong challenge on this Laugh a Minute, who goes on in the closing stages to win by a length and a half. Laugh a Minute from Fiscal Roots.
But it's Harry's Bar repelling the late challenge of the stable companion Dream Today, and Harry's Bar makes it 6-course win.
Check out shamrockthoroughbreds.com or click the link in the Champ.ie podcast video description to learn more about new racehorse ownership opportunities.
Yes, and Stephen Torn, what a season he's had at Dundalk, and good luck to him as well as the flat season kicks into full swing. Right, Barry, best bets from you and Nap and the next best pick for you for the card on Friday at Punchestown.
Yeah, well, the nap for me, Dave, we've already said, I think Blizzard of Odds have been waiting for him to make his handicap chase debut. I think off 141 could be very, very competitive. And Willie Mullins' record in the race, I think it's all pointing in the direction of a big run from Blizzard of Odds. And so he's a really good jumper of a fence as well. I think so. Only his 4th start, but his overall chase, form of beginner's chases reads very well to me. And yeah, 8-1 each way. I think he's the nap pick. And let's keep it quite simple for the next best, Dave. I think Final Demand, best horse in the race. He should win for me. And really looking forward to seeing him once again at Punchestown.
Yes, well, your nap is my next best pick. And as I've mentioned, King Rasco Grey for the final race, the bumper under Jodie Townend. If you get a nice price about that, I think that is the nap pick on Friday. Well, we'll be back, of course, with one more video this week. That is going to be of Saturday's card. Keep an eye out for that. We hope you've enjoyed this show previewing Friday's card at Punchestown and have enjoyed the cards and videos throughout the week. And we hope, of course, that you've met a few bob as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Champ.ie podcast. And as always, thanks for watching.